This video is sponsored by Oculus. I've always been a believer in VR since the first ever Oculus. I tried that out at the first E3 that I ever went to back in 2014. But I always thought that VR future was way down the line. I never got one for myself because there's that big hurdle of the price, and that you need a big beefy gaming PC, and that you need to set up a whole room around VR, and I'm good. I'd rather stick to my game consoles that you just turn on and they just work. I always told myself I would get an Oculus when they were cheaper and more accessible, and you see where I'm going with this? This is the Oculus Quest 2. You don't need to have all of these sensors taking up space in your room. You don't even need a computer. Everything you need is right here in the headset. This is the most accessible you can get for a true VR experience, without any hassle, for the same price as the cheap game consoles. So Oculus and Facebook went a little overboard and they got me way too much stuff. Like more stuff than you could ever need for this thing. All you really need is just the unit itself. It already comes with 2 controllers and you don't need a computer to use it. A phone would be nice because that helps with setup. It makes it a little easier. They also sent me these really fancy Logitech headphones. It says Oculus Ready, which means it comes with a really tiny cable that goes from the headphones to the headset. But you can use any headphones you want, or none at all. The speakers on the Quest 2 are surprisingly good quality. It feels immersive without having any headphones plugged in at all, because the speakers are right next to your ears. But if you want that extra level of immersion, headphones like these definitely help. They also sent me this Anchor dock. You can charge the headset via USB-C, but this dock helps give the Oculus Quest 2 and its touch controllers a place to live in my house. So when I put them down, they'll always be charged and ready to go. My favorite part about this headset is that you just pick it up and turn it on. You don't need to be tethered to a big gaming rig or anything. It just works. Unless you want it to be tethered to a big, beefy gaming rig. They sent me the Link headset cable, which is around 16 feet long. This can be used for any games that require that extra power. The games will run off of your PC and be played through the Quest 2, with your PC doing most of the heavy lifting. But I wouldn't recommend all of that stuff, at least not off the bat. Just get the base unit because that's all you need. And if you love that, then you can start kitting it out with some accessories. I like to look at this stuff through the eyes of the average consumer. So I want to try this as bare bones as possible. So I appreciate the thermos and the sweatbands and the hoodie and the stretchy shirt. Oculus, it's all great, but I'm gonna use all that after the video's done. Okay? Right out of the box, I was able to play Beat Saber, Vader Immortal, Super Hot, and Moss, all with just the headset and the touch controllers. And this is just the 64GB model, which still has plenty of space, even though I've been capturing straight from the headset this whole time. Setup is also very simple. All you need to do is make some room. And you don't even need much room. I was able to go through the first steps demo, play some Beat Saber and Vader Immortal in my tiny Brooklyn apartment. As long as you set up the Guardian correctly, you won't have to worry about slamming your hands into any walls or anything. But obviously, the more space, the better. Moving my coffee table and doing it in my living room gave me less to worry about. Except, there's a dog there.
Bro.
Get here. Get here. Get here.
Come here.
I was also surprised by how intuitive it was. I pretty much understood how to use it just by picking it up. I'm sure it also helps that these touch controllers are laid out like other big name game console controllers. with 4 face buttons, 2 shoulder buttons, and 2 analog sticks. The whole setup and tutorial took maybe around an hour, and there's this cute little first steps game that you get to mess around with to get acquainted with your new device. Excuse me. Oh, hello. Hi. Jesus Christ. Hello. I'm freaking out. I don't want to dance. You dance. I'm not dancing. I don't want to do it. You do it. You like want me to get down? Oh, damn. I hate this. I hate this so much. Oh no. Oh no. You're Bye.
When you're ready,
I don't dance. So yeah, the actual setup itself is very simple, which is again why I'm so interested in the pick up and play nature of this thing. VR has historically been a massive pain, at least from what I've seen of it as an outsider looking in. And I told myself that I wouldn't get back into it until it was something that I could just slap on my face and start playing out of the box. And now it is. And now they're paying me to use it. I'm so blessed. Is that your hair? So I don't have much experience with VR, which might be why I was so blown away by certain things. Like, for example, Vader Immortal. The second that thing booted up, I was sucked right in. Alright, I want the headphones for this. Something about having Imperials get right up in my face made this worth the price of admission for me.
Just a moment. Sorry, we're having... Oh! Hi.
Don't move, scum!
This is awesome. Which is probably the biggest downside for VR right now. It's really hard to show people without physically showing people. You need to really get somebody in a room and throw the headset on them yourself in order for them to experience the immersion. You at home can be watching a video like this and think, oh, it's pretty cool, Darth Vader's breathing in his face. But until you actually have Darth Vader breathing in your face, you're not gonna understand why this is such a big deal.
You may wonder why I have brought you here.
Yep.
You are required to perform one simple task.
A Rubik's Cube. I've done these.
Open this configuration, and I will spare your life.
Yeah, no problem, dude. I got it. I got these. That was the easiest Rubik's Cube I've ever done. You couldn't do that.
This is the one I've been searching for.
Me? Of course, I also played Beat Saber, which I've never played before. It seemed like the easiest VR experience to wrap my head around. I also played Moss and Super Hot. I've played Moss before, and it's still one of my favorite VR experiences. It's a third-person platforming adventure game where you control a little mouse named Quill through a series of sandboxes. Since you're looking down at the play area like an observer, it's an easy VR experience to just jump into. You can also play it while you're sitting, which is great for lazy me. Then, of course, there's Super Hot, which I've played before, but never in VR. And VR makes it way, way more fun. I can safely recommend all of these games if you want to pick up an Oculus Quest 2 for yourself. They all play right off the headset and can be downloaded straight from the store within the headset. So if you're interested in VR at all, they have those little things where you can like put your phone in like a little piece of cardboard or something. But if you're actually interested in VR at all, this thing is the price of a cheap game console at $299. And it has everything you need to get started right out of the box, and you're just good to go. And from there, if you love it and you want to take your experience to the next level, you can get things like the Link cable, so you can plug it into your beefy gaming rig and play stuff like Half-Life Alyx. I'll be honest, I've been looking for any excuse to play that game. Any excuse aside from like laying down a boatload of money to play it. You probably know I'm not big into PC games, but believe it or not, I played the hell out of the Half-Life series back in the day on PC, and I'm pretty sure that game's probably gonna be one of the best VR experiences you can have. The only problem for me is that it's 67 gigabytes. I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't got any room for that. I'm about to put a 6th hard drive in my computer just to friggin' play games off of. But anyway, once I fix my stuff, I'll finally play that. I'll keep you posted. Stay tuned to my social media or over on Twitch. Maybe I'll play it on Twitch. I'm very, very picky with the sponsorships that I take. I only take sponsorships from products that I like because I think above all, this relationship that we have is the most important. If I ever said something wrong or something that I don't believe in just because somebody paid me, well then this would be ruined. So I took this sponsorship because hell yeah, I want to try VR. I've been waiting for something like this and I'm not at all disappointed. You can get it for yourself if you like for $2.99 at the link in the description below. Also, I think it's worth mentioning, I scripted all of this by myself. They didn't tell me to say anything. All they told me was, please make sure you wear your wrist straps, which is a good piece of advice because, you know, some of these games, you use the triggers as grips and you might be holding a tiny rocket and forget that you're not actually holding the tiny rocket and try to throw it and then you throw the whole controller. Anyway, what do you guys think about the Oculus Quest 2? Is this something that might get you interested in VR? Were you being held down by that tall barrier to entry? Were you already interested in VR and this is just a cool another little thing to just satiate your hobby? Also, what should I play next? Because I only, downloaded the stuff that I've seen and that interested me in the store, but let me know what good VR experiences there are out there in the comments down below that I could specifically play with no wires involved, because that's, again, my favorite part of this thing. I don't gotta friggin' plug it into anything. Leave it in the comments below, add me on Twitter, any and all this other social media garbage. We got new videos here all the time, at least once a week. Subscribe if you want to see those. I'm also on Twitch all the time, don't forget that. But the most important thing that you can do to help support this channel is just subscribe to it. Thank you. Those notifications help let you know when these videos come out, and share this video with a friend who maybe you want to get into this stuff, because again, this is the easiest way to do it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Oculus and Facebook, and you have a good week. My favorite part about this headset is that you just pick it up and turn... Why?